It's time for Drummer Nation. Drummers who prefer dark cymbals with fast responses will love the HH Vanguard series from Sabian. Vanguard provides an elegant, complex sound that is always musical. Each model is fully hand-hammered to be thin and light, with a flatter profile for a deep fundamental tone and a smaller, musically integrated bell. The result is a clean, woody stick definition with exceptional articulation and responsiveness. Find detailed information at Sabian.com/Vanguard.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Bobby A, and today I wanted to tell you about how much I really love the Hudson Music digital app. Okay, now, check it out. It's an app that you can get for your device, and you can purchase books from the Hudson Music digital store and have them stored right on your device. The great thing about it is you always have it with you, and any content that might be video related or music related is right there at your fingertips. It's a wonderful resource.
Welcome everyone to another edition of Drummer Nation. I have probably the most frequent guest I've ever had. This may be his third or fourth appearance, and he's my buddy and my pal Stanton Moore. Hey Stanton, thanks for coming back and doing the show again.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Always welcome. You and I caught up the last time online was like right in the beginning of this COVID thing. And we were all going down into that. And we're going to talk about all that. But I'd like to take a second to congratulate New Orleans. Because did you see the debacle in Miami last few weeks ago? The kids were just out of control by the tens of thousands. And New Orleans, a city, shall we say, not known for its being calm and reserved and responsible, stepped up and pretty much kiboshed Mardi Gras.
Yeah, and that was challenging for us. And, you know, New Orleans, we do have a reputation for being a party town, but, you know, when you are a party town and you conduct yourself with dignity and it's part of the culture, we take our partying very seriously. I mean, you know, it's not just partying, it's enjoying life and enjoying culture and enjoying music and food. And to me, you know, not to speak disparagingly of any other cities, but some cities are operating a little bit like amateur hour. And New Orleans, we're seasoned at this. And so, you know, I think too, we've been talking about it a lot in New Orleans. How is it that New Orleans is leading the country in vaccines, and how are we able to peacefully abstain from Mardi Gras? And for the most part, you know, and I think it's because we've been through Katrina together. We've been through, you know, what was a very difficult time, and we all had to come together as a culture, as a city, as a community. And so we don't want anything like that to happen to us or our families or our own or our community again. So when faced with something like this, we take it very seriously. And we are all kind of hunkering down, doing what needs to be done so we can get through this, so we can get back to the business of enjoying ourselves.
That's an excellent answer. It's a lifestyle based on appreciation of arts and music and literature and everything else and food. And they take it seriously and are preserving that. So now I know you're a part owner in the band Galactic owns Tipitinas. And that's been a hell of a ride for the last year, right?
Yeah, that has been challenging. It's not been easy. We've had to pivot, shift, and rethink things and get creative. But what I keep telling people is that I hope that 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, we will be looking back on this time like this was one of the toughest things we've ever had to go through. Been looking at financial disaster straight in the face. But if it wasn't for the challenges that we've been forced to go through the pandemic, COVID, quarantine, and lockdown, if it wasn't for being forced to go through those challenges, we wouldn't be in the position that we're hopefully in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. And by that, what I mean is we've started the Tipitina's Record Club, a subscription record club during this time. We started Tipitina's TV. We all hunkered down, and myself especially, focused on the online side of things. So hopefully in 2, 5, 10 years from now, that will all have grown to a point where it'll be added diverse revenue streams that we might not have started at this time. And also, what I'm hoping one of the silver linings will be is that it's become a very open conversation that musicians don't make a lot of money, and the musician lifestyle is based off of the support of people, and oftentimes live music, the support of people being physically there. So now that people have not been able to experience live music, I'm hoping that there'll be a newfound appreciation for live music, musicians, and music in general. And people have already seen it, and I hope that it continues, that people want to support and contribute to the music and the musicians that they care about and the music venues that they care about. So I'm hoping that all of this will add up to a silver lining that'll have us looking back in 2, 5, and 10 years as, wow, that was tough, but we're doing okay now.
Here, here. Excellent answer. I know you told me when you guys were first buying this club, we talked about the fact that Tipitina's is an iconic thing, man, and that it had all these spin-offs capable to it because it's an icon from New Orleans, going back to Professor Long here. And I guess you've had to jump on that faster than you may have wanted to, but it's coming back now, right? Are you doing performances there again?
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you handling that?
What's that?
How are you handling that?
So what we're able to do is we're allowed to have 75 people, up to 75 people, which for us is less than 10% of our capacity. So we're able to really space out the tables, and our staff is really good, and some of them have experience with table service. So we've been talking about this for months. When we are able to come back, it'll have to be seated table service. So we've been buying tables. We've been setting them up. We've been taking pictures of them to show people for private events when we're able. So we've been doing, for lack of a better word, we've kind of been doing some imagining and physically placing stuff and seeing how it would work. And I was planning on streaming Thursday, the 18th, March 18th. And I was planning on just streaming, maybe having a couple of friends in the building. And then we were doing a private on the Saturday night. So we had to staff that Saturday night. Then it was announced that we could have live music if we were spaced with tables, with table service. And we said, well, man, we're like literally 2/3 of the way there. All we'd have to do is staff Friday night. We could open my Thursday night to a few friends and family and still stream it. So we sold tickets for my night, but we only sent that link out to people that we knew who had been supporting the club throughout the pandemic already. So it happened kind of quick, but we had been preparing for it for a while. So was exciting and kind of like, hold on, here we go. It was like, going up that roller coaster, it's coming. But then when you're at the top of it, it's like, all right, here it is. But we were prepared, and Ivan Neville, that Friday night, he sold out 2 shows, open to 75 people each, sold out in under an hour. And so now this weekend coming up, I'm doing Thursday night, John Groves Friday night, Anders Osborne is Saturday night. Last weekend we had John Cleary on Friday night and Walter Wolfman Washington on Saturday night. Both nights, 2 shows sold out.
Beautiful, man.
So it's going well. And we're keeping bands down to trios and duos. So that's allowing the musicians to make some money. We're also doing virtual tips. Some of the shows we're actually streaming too. So it's making it so the club's making a little money. The musicians are making money. We did a lot of math, got the ticket price where it could make sense for a duo or a trio. Mm-hmm. And so far, man, it's working. And it's very reassuring because now we can hopefully just grow gradually and then eventually have some standing room and eventually have bigger bands. But it really feels good just to get started. And that to me was the heavy lifting.
Great. Let's take a second because you've drifted off from your voice and we're out of sync for a second. Say something else.
Testing.
It seems to be back.
Seems to be back.
Yeah.
Interwebs.
I know, it's crazy. I'll cut that part out, of course.
Okay, so look, let me go to another network that might be better.
Okay, you want to keep do I stop this and start again or what?
You're going to have to edit now anyway.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I don't mind that.
So let me switch and then it might get better. Hold on. All right, we there?
Yeah.
All right, I had this one little...
That's my dog barking upstairs, too.
Nice.
All right, she's
All right,
done.
here we go.
We're back. Okay, let me pick it up with something. Well, I've always known you to be a good businessman, but I guess you've got both feet in there now, right?
Yeah, I mean, and lately I've been waking up every morning and spending an hour or more reading business books. And, that's been my shed time lately. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was shedding, making sure my hands were staying in shape. I was doing Tommy Igo's Lifetime warm-up. And once I got that up to the 5-minute advanced, I'll do that every other day or something, make sure that my hands are staying in there. For a while, man, I was getting some of those things up to like 210, sometimes 220, and that felt really good. But I was like, okay, my hands are like in better shape than they've maybe ever been. I've been very fortunate to be able to get some experience playing, streaming, and playing with musicians during this time. We've been doing a few streams with Tipitinas.tv. I've done a drive-in. I've done a few streams with my trio, both at Tips, at Snug Harbor, at the Columns Hotel. So I've been getting a little playing in. So I was like, man, let me spend the second half of this pandemic shedding business. So I've been reading some of Donald Miller's stuff for a while, and I'm going through his Business Made Simple right now, and it's been super helpful and illuminating. And so I've been trying to apply some of what I've been learning with that to both my online academy, Tipitina's, the record club, and all of that. So it's really, I've looked at this whole time as kind of a forced sabbatical. And I've been shedding, practicing, but I've also been trying to hone some of my business skills as well.
I relate to that. You and I had a cymbal company, and I did the same thing. I went to school every day on MBA shit, just making sure I owed it to my partners to know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
And it's an education, but I dig it. You're good at it and you like it, so it's a great match for you, I think.
Yeah. I've been feeling like, man, if I start spending just a little bit, like a percentage of the time and effort and energy that I've spent learning how to play the drums, if I start applying some of that time, effort, and energy to business for the rest of my career and life, then I might be in good shape.
You've always been in good shape, financially, musically, and you keep yourself fit as well.
I try.
Um, Tell me about Galactic. When does that start up again, or what's going on with that band?
Man, so we have a gig coming up April 17th, and we're right now figuring out, are we flying, are we driving? And then we have an 11-day tour coming up
Great.
May 13th through 24th. So we're starting to pick things up. I mean, things are starting to pick up, and I get my second vaccination shot tomorrow.
That was
So
my next question. Yeah.
whole band will be vaccinated, and we're heading, I feel like we're heading in the right direction. And the thing that we've learned through this, though, is you can have the whole carpet pulled out from under you at any moment. I mean, our whole livelihood and way of life just went away literally overnight. So what I've tried to take away from this is to not take anything for granted. So sure, things are headed in the right direction and we're making progress, but we've learned that anything can happen at any moment. So you just really don't know.
Well, you live in New Orleans too. Talking about anything can happen at any moment. I mean, we all know the whole city is below sea level.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they've weathered a few serious storms since Katrina, and it seems to be a better setup now, right?
Yeah. I mean, we got a direct hit a few months ago, and that was really interesting and strange to be standing outside in the middle of an eye of a hurricane. So
Mm.
it was a pretty strange experience. But we're hoping that our infrastructure is better now, but you never know until you get a direct hit. But then Katrina wasn't a direct hit. Katrina was a man-made failure of the levee system, and that
Right.
was just a perfect storm of situations that converged on themselves to create that situation.
I remember from my world history years ago that they used to say that river societies had a certain bent to them based on how predictable the river was. Like river societies where the river always flooded had a certain attitude about life as opposed to ones where they were steady and calm and relatively tame all the time. So maybe that's why everything's nuts in New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a port city, It's one of the oldest port cities, and so there's a lot of things about New Orleans that make it one of the most unique and special places in the world.
It's my
And the
hometown, brother.
more
You
that,
know 'em. I know what you say. Speak of. I agree.
yeah, and the more that I travel, the more I realize how special New Orleans is. And I've been all over the world, and I love a lot of places, but I like New Orleans best.
Hmm. And when somebody from New Orleans tells you a restaurant has good food, it's got good food.
You better
I
believe it.
remember you telling me, dude, would I ever steer you wrong on food?
Never. I
Never.
take food really seriously. If I ate the way I wanted to all the time, man, I'd be 400
You
pounds.
look like me.
Come on now.
So tell me about your academy. That's another business art co-op, you might say, that you've got firmly established. Tell me what that's all about.
So I love sharing my drumming knowledge. You and I have hung at so many drum festivals and shows and clinics and master classes. And when the show is over, the hotel hang with a pair of brushes and everybody's got a glass of wine or a beverage in their hand, and everybody's taking turns showing each other stuff on a magazine or a newspaper, or maybe we're showing each other stuff with sticks on a pad. And those are some of my favorite hangs.
Me too.
And it's about the sharing, right? So I consider myself an eternal student, and I did 2 books and 2 DVDs, and I just realized that I want to keep doing books and DVDs, and I want to keep sharing that knowledge. I want to keep learning, and I want to keep imparting that to whoever is interested in hearing about the knowledge that I've collected up here, right? So the Academy is all about that. It's all about me sharing that knowledge and my Academy members sharing their knowledge with me and us all sharing that together. So I'm writing and filming new lessons all the time and putting those up in the Academy. And then I field questions, and other members share things that they've been checking out lately, things that they've been practicing, books they've read, videos they've watched, techniques that they've learned, or things that they've been struggling with. And I'm learning as much from them as hopefully they are from me. And so it's a place where instead of writing books and filming DVDs, that's where I'm putting that information. I am writing books and filming DVDs. I'm just putting them up on my Academy.
Well, it really feels like a community.
Yeah, well, thank you. It feels like it. It really does. And, you know, through COVID, I had what is my 3-day Stanton Moore Spirit of New Orleans drum camp every year.
I went to one of those ones. They're great.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, it's fun. It's super fun. This was year 8. And this year I reached out to everybody and said, man, I'm having an idea. We can't do it in person, but what if we did it online via Zoom? And everybody's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So it's sold out. I had 30 members in there. And then it was so fun. I said, how about I do a 1-day version of this, like a 1-day intensive? So 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. So I just did one of those March 20th, 4 1.5-hour sessions. So I'm going to do another one in about 2 months. So I'm learning so much through this period about how we can continue growing this community, continue learning and interacting with each other, even if we can't get together in person like we do at the camp. We're getting together in intensives and continuing on the forum. So it's really fun for me, and it's also educational for me as well as hopefully all the members as well.
Mm-hmm. Now you do a Wednesday night hang or something, don't you? Is that open to the public?
It is. Well, I have been doing that, and that's how I've learned so much about streaming. So I was doing that on Wednesday nights, and this Wednesday that just passed, I announced I think I'm going to take a break from that for a while, because now I'm going to be playing Thursday nights from Tipitina's. Maybe every Thursday, we'll see how it goes. Maybe every other Thursday. We're kind of taking everything week to week right now.
Sure.
So I'm going to be streaming this Thursday from Tips, and I don't want to overload myself or my stream team. So I will be doing, instead of the Wednesday night, I'll be doing Thursday night this week coming. And then.
And where do people find that?
On my YouTube channel, Tipitinas.tv YouTube channel, my Facebook channel.
Okay.
So if people want to keep an eye on my Facebook and YouTube channels, I'll constantly be putting stuff up. And I make those announcements on Instagram too. So if people follow me and want to know what I'm up to, just follow my channels, and I'm always announcing and posting
You're all
stuff.
over it. Now, how about LSU? What's up with that?
Yeah, so LSU, I'm constantly filming and doing stuff with them as well, and teaching. So I've got 8 private students there, and I just filmed for the LSU Steel Pan Orchestra or Steel Pan Band, And that's going to be coming out in just a minute. We just finished it. It'll be on my channels, LSU channels. So that's the first time that they've done anything with steel pans in years. They've been having the pans, but they haven't done anything performance-wise or video-wise. So one of our grad students has pan experience and put together the ensemble. Ty Ellender, he went to McNeese, and they had a pan band there. So he put together the ensemble, and we recorded one of the steel pan classics called Sarah, and that's hitting all the channels any minute. And then we've got a concert we'll be putting out there. I don't know if that's going to be open to the public or not, but I'm doing a lot with LSU. I did a video, which is available on my YouTube channel, with me playing right in front of their drum line. And then we did a whole bunch of stuff with some of the ancient snare drum solos during the pandemic. And I've done a few different percussion ensemble performances where I'm playing in my studio and I'm playing along with them. So we do that like you would do most tracks. They track it to a click, then they send it to me, then I play drums to it, and then we film it all and put it together. Mm-hmm. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a huge learning experience.
They're cool too. They're very hip.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Memphis Drum Shop is the world's premier provider of percussion instruments. With 6 showrooms of gear, mycymbal.com, the Memphis Gong Chamber, and a first-rate repair department, turn to Memphis Drum Shop for all your percussion needs.
So you mentioned you've been doing some recording through all this. I know you have a new Garage A Trois record. Tell us about what's going on there.
Yeah, so that's coming out April 16th, and we'll be doing a live stream to celebrate that release on April 16th. And so that record is myself, Garage A Trois, is Charlie Hunter, Skerrick, and me. So that's the original Garage A Trois, the first record, which came out on vinyl. It was called Mystery Funk, and it was the 3 of us. And it was outtakes from my first solo record in 1998, which was All Cooped Out. And then shortly after that record came out, we started playing some gigs, and then we added Mike Dillon on vibes. And we toured a lot and did 2 more records with that lineup. Then Charlie went to focus on his solo career for a while, and we did Marco Benevento, who's a great organ player, keyboard player all around. And we made a couple records with that. And then we all focused on our own projects for a while, and then we started getting requests from promoters to come and play gigs with Charlie Hunter, Skerrick, and myself. So we've been doing some gigs, and we thought it might be fun to make a record. So we had a 3-night stand at Nectar in Seattle, and we literally carried my drums across the street to the studio across the street that is owned by Stone Gossard, who's a good friend of Skerrick. Stone is one of the guitar players in Pearl Jam. And so we carried my drums across the street, recorded for a few hours, carried the drums back across the street, and played the gig. So super old school style. And it was super fun and organic to record and play in that way. And we will be releasing that record on vinyl, April 16th. And it's called Calm Down Cologne.
What's the title mean?
Oh, it's one of Skerrick's funny titles, It's like, all right, be cool. Don't make me spray you with some of my Calm Down Cologne. Just being whimsical and funny.
I got it. Okay.
Titles.
Hello, everyone. My name is David Victor. I'm General Manager with the Craviato Drum Company. We wanted to offer a one-ply, solid shell product, but we wanted it to stay true to our mission of offering handmade drums of uncompromised quality built here in the USA. So take a listen to our Center Stage Series drum set.
Let's talk about the musician part of you, though. Being a drummer, a lot of it is confidence, right? If you don't believe in your beat, nobody's going to believe in it. And when we take all this time away from the kit, when you go back to it, there, some schools of thought. One is the music's in you. It's always there. It's always going to be there. The other one is you're not used to driving the bus every night. Does it feel strange to get on a gig again?
For me, it doesn't feel strange. It feels very freeing. It feels like I'm flying again because, I've been, like I said, I've been staying very active through all of this. So on my Wednesdays, I've been doing live, I've been doing play-alongs, some of them with a click, some of them without a click, and sometimes intentionally not really rehearsed. And some of it has been, for example, like my good friend Robert Walter, he sent me 4 tracks to record for him. He's making a record during quarantine. And he said, sure, you can use these as play-alongs. So I'm playing along to some of those things. And the record's not even done. But I would also stop and then show people, well, I could have played it like this. I could have played it completely different and played it like this. And so I've been putting my time under a musical microscope this whole time. And I also recently got Benny Grebb's gap click. So anything I've been practicing lately, I've been practicing towards like click, 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 silence, So any techniques or exercises I've been shedding, if I've been learning a Philly Joe solo and I'm repeating 4 bars over and over, I'll repeat it to that gap click and to make sure that I bang, hit that one. So I've really been working on my time. I've been working on my hands. I've been performing live in front of a virtual audience every Wednesday night. I've been playing with Galactic, playing with my trio, playing with Dragon Smoke, doing streams. So I feel very fortunate that I've been able to keep my musical chops at least a little active throughout all of this. And I've intentionally been putting myself on the spot. Like if somebody asks me to play something that I haven't played in a while, I'll just play it.
I saw some of that on your Wednesday night thing. You just put yourself out there. Hey, man, I'm going to try this. What's the worst that can happen? Crash and burn, we'll do it again. And that's wonderful. So I think it's important that everybody, all the musicians, find a way to come out of this COVID thing in a little better way than they went in, whether it's.
And I think even for anybody who hasn't had a chance to play as much as I may have during this, everything I've done has been socially distanced. I mean, I forced myself and my engineer to learn how to stream. Luckily, I had bought cameras that were stream capable. I hired a consultant over 2 years ago to help me buy some cameras, and you and I talked about this. So I bought the Sony A6400s, and my consultant, Max Cusimano, was like, are you going to be streaming? And I was like, well, eventually, but not yet. So he's like, well, let's just get you cameras that will be able to stream. And what that means is that they won't cut off after 30 minutes.
I know. I have DSLRs that I can't use.
Yeah, so I got mirrorless, and they were brand new at the time. They were Sony A6400s, and we've loved them. And so much so that my guy and one of his buddies, they bought Sony A6400s, and then we're going to get an A7, and Jim Toscano helped us. So I heard that Jim was offering consultation. Dave Stack told me about Jim. Reached out to Jim, started learning how to stream, and I reached out to my engineer. I was like, all right, as soon as we feel comfortable getting together in my studio with masks and staying distant, we're going to learn how to stream. And he said, well, I don't know how to stream. I said, we're going to learn.
Same thing here. It's a different bag, right? I mean, I spent a lot of time learning how to create video and edit video and all that. Streaming's a different ballgame altogether.
Oh, it's such a learning curve. But by doing that and making myself do it every week and then making myself do a play along, I've had to put myself in the hot seat. And then I'm lucky that I've been able to do some streams from Tips. David Torkanowski is very forward thinking, and he had me come do some streams at the Collins Hotel. I've done some at his house. I've done some in the middle of the intersection of 3rd and Chestnut in the Garden District before I even lived close to the Garden District. In the middle of COVID, there was some stuff going going on where they would do a block party with a piano on the back of a truck.
I saw some of those.
What's that?
I saw some of those.
They would hire police detail, and everybody would have to have their mask on, stay distant, and there was a piano in the back of a truck, drums on the street, and I did one stream that way. I did a few streams outside of Tipitina's on the side.
I saw that too. That's a fade-o-do, right?
Well, I mean, one form of it. We didn't call it that, but we just called it sidewalk performances, sidewalk shows. So we just got really creative. And once I started streaming, it was just like, man, we can stream from anywhere. I'm going to be streaming from my house. I've got a piano that I've ordered that I'm going to be paying off for the next 20 years. But I've just created these opportunities to play, and yes, some of it's been through Tipitina's, some of it's been through Torkanowski, some of it's been through different things. But I think that once people who haven't had as much of an opportunity, once they start getting back, I do think the music is in you. And you may have to dust off some cobwebs, and there may be a little rust to knock off, but it'll come back. And, that's not going to go away.
We're all in the same boat too, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're all in the same boat. So, there's definitely some rust that needs to be knocked off on my end too. And there have been a few times that I've streamed and played a play along, and I stop playing, and I'm like, got to get those gig, that gig, gig chops, sure, but the gig energy, the gig endurance.
I've caught myself practicing and going, why am I out of breath? I used to do this for an hour and a half,
Yeah. And we'll get back there, but I've been trying to look at this, I think I said this already, as a forced sabbatical, and trying to learn some skills that we didn't have before, that we've been meaning to learn, and grow in some areas that we've been meaning to grow in. And that might mean putting live playing on the back burner for a minute. But then once we get back to live playing, hopefully we'll have all these other skills and other revenue streams developed. And we can all keep learning from each other and keep lifting each other up.
Great advice.
From what we've learned through this time.
Great advice for everyone. You don't have to be a world famous drummer to put those things to use, to make sure you're moving forward no matter what's happening.
Gotta keep moving forward.
That's you, buddy. Ever since I met you, man, and you're a hard one to keep up with.
Well, thanks for saying that.
I mean that in the best way, of course. How's everything else going?
Good. I've really been feeling like there's a lot of optimism with everyone that I've been talking to. There's a lot of silver linings that people are finding. Haven't had to go through all of this. Of course, we've lost some people, which is awful, terrible. And I feel like we could have avoided a lot of the situations that we wound up finding ourselves in. But I'm feeling optimistic and positive about the future, both musically, business-wise, and humanity and community-wise. I feel like the country's headed in a better place. I feel like humanity is headed in a better place. Hopefully, one thing a lot of us, I can't say everybody, but hopefully one thing a lot of us can agree on is that you can't take anything for granted, and that anything can change at any moment. And hopefully, no matter where you stand politically or what you believe in, hopefully we all value what we have a little bit more and come out of this valuing what we have and valuing each other, And that's what I'm trying to focus on is, man, every gig and every opportunity that I get to play, I value that. And I'm trying to soak in every moment that I have to enjoy life. We've lost a lot through all of this. And in April, almost a year ago, I lost my dad, and that was rough. And so I learned that, every moment that we have on this planet is valuable.
My condolences again on your father. Well, Stanton, I don't know what to say following that. That's well stated, beautiful, outstanding, positive, uplifting.
Well, thank you, Michael.
Let's put it into law. Sign it and make it official.
I love it.
I must say, I've never known you to have a bad attitude or to get down about anything, or just keep coming at it, man. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, wake up every morning and just do the best that we can.
Okay, well, Stanton Moore is my guest. Stanton Moore Drum Academy, Tipitina's, Galactic, the band, LSU, hangs on Zoom, all kinds of, look him up, man. He's easy to find and great to learn from, and a good friend. Thank you so much for doing my show again, Stanton.
Oh, absolutely, Michael. Thank you for having me.